Alright, it's been a little while since I've painted a fruit or vegetable for you. So today we're going to be painting a whimsical eggplant. So one of my favorite emojis. I'm joking, kind of. Anyway, we're going to be painting an eggplant. So I've got my round brush. Today I'm using a size 10 because it's going to be a pretty big eggplant. I'm using some watercolor paper, which I've already dripped a little paint on, but that's okay. I've got paper towel, I've got my paints from, they're actually the same ones that I stock in my watercolor kits that I sell. 2 jars of water, so warm colors jar, cool colors jar. This paper is also from one of my kits as well. It's 300 GSM cold pressed paper, so it's rough. And it's watercolor paper, and I've just, oh my gosh, I must have had paint on my hand. But we're rolling with it today. All right, so I'm going to grab some purple paint on my brush. I activate the paint by adding water to it with my brush, dab off any excess, and I'm going to do some pretty big brush strokes. So I'm going to paint the, I guess, the body of the eggplant, or the actual, like, oh gosh, is it a fruit or a vegetable? Could someone please let me know? Anyway, the purple part. We're going to begin with the purple part of the eggplant. So using some really big sweeping brush strokes to begin with, and I'm adding more water to my brush almost every time because the brush is drying out pretty quickly. And I'm getting some concentrated paint down the bottom, and I'll probably be dabbing in some more paint down there shortly to add a bit of depth and variety. So using our wet in wet technique, dabbing in some more to create, I guess, a bit of a shadow. Dabbing that in, and I'm actually going to dry off my brush a little bit and drag the dry brush across the top to pull some of that paint and water off the eggplant to create a bit of a highlight. So I better keep working though. It's a warm day, so my page is drying quite quickly, and I want to get the top of this eggplant sort of looking a bit jagged so that the green part of the eggplant, also not sure of the name of that bit, can sort of fall into these jagged spaces. So there we go. The top of the eggplant is looking a bit jagged, a bit weird at the moment, but once we add in the green part at the top, which I'm sure has a name, it will all make sense once we've added that green bit in. I'm in a very strange mood today. It's been a little while since I've painted because I've been a little bit unwell. So I'm jumping back into it, and I'm a little bit silly. As you can tell, probably by the fact that we are painting an eggplant, but it's just something a bit fun and different, and I'm also loving this purple. Okay, so ideally you're going to want to wait until the purple part of the eggplant is dry before adding in any more paint, otherwise the green might bleed into the purple. So do as I say, not as I do. I actually don't have quite enough time today. AKA I'm a little impatient. So I'm going to jump straight in with my green paint, and you may even see what I'm talking about and what I'm telling you to avoid. You might see it happening. And if that happens, we'll treat this as a lesson to do as I say, not as I do. But I'm going to be using some green paint on the very tip of my brush, dabbing off excess water so it doesn't all flood the page. And I'm going to use the tip of the brush to paint some green bits. And it's definitely, my brush has definitely tapped the purple part of the eggplant, so the green and the purple are blending a little. And I actually don't hate it. It's not terrible. So there you go. Maybe give it a try. I'm just using the very tip of the brush to create this shape at the top of the eggplant. So the very top is kind of domed, and then it's got these pointy bits coming out the bottom. And as always, I find it much easier to paint and draw things than describe them. Anyway, we've got the top green bit on our eggplant, and I'm dabbing in a little bit more green paint just to, again, add a bit more depth and variety. And I'm going to, once again, use a dry-ish brush to pick up some of the paint back off my page to create more of a highlight. And there we have a whimsical eggplant.